We expected to have some confirmation from the legislature by early this week, but the ledge went into recess and they did not come out with any kind of a target. So the assumption is that they are waiting for the next projections from the Council on Revenues, and then they will come back in session in June, which is, you know, not so far away, and let us have a better sense. But in the meantime, we do continue our own internal planning processes, and we are poised to set the meetings that Cheryl and Brian and I will have with the department chairs, unit heads, and their program administrators to go over the requests. That is just not yet scheduled, but is almost ready to be scheduled. And in the meantime, I have asked through your AGOs for feedback on what the constituents might think about the hallmarks, the characteristics of the campus that we need to continue to support through our budget allocations. And the deadline for that feedback is today, and I've gotten some preliminary responses back from all the AGOs except students, and totally understand we're not going to get student feedback at this time of the year. So if nothing else comes through, then that will be what I'll share with all of the members of the ELT. And thank you for the input. It will be considered as we move forward in the budgeting process. Let's see. We have our CCC group, that is the COVID-19 Comeback Committee, which is looking at what we need to be doing to plan for the gradual return to campus for fall 2020. I don't know if you saw the governor's plans, nicely illustrated, good graphics, very clear to see about what the stages of return to new normal. What struck me about the return to new normal is that facial coverings and 6-foot distance goes all the way across the plan for all the different periods of return, all the way to new normal. So that looks to be what we need to be focused on, and that is what we are considering as we plan. So there are 4 subgroups that are part of this CCC committee. One focused on instruction, one focused on student support, one focused on facilities, and one focused on employee safety. They are not mutually exclusive in the areas that they need to deal with, but there will be coordination at the executive committee. So each of the conveners of those subgroups will be meeting together, since there is clear overlap in some of the areas that need to be considered. Who are the subcommittee members? Let me allow the guys who are the campus leads, the conveners, because I don't even know who the members are. That was something we just did an inventory of on Monday, I think. But I will allow the Joanne, Maria, Noel, and Brian to let you know who is on their committee. The AGOs submitted names, and then there are other folks who have volunteered, I believe, but I will allow them to do that. Let's see, what else? As of today, 667 high school seniors have registered or enrolled in our free classes for summer session. So that's terrific. And thank you to the faculty who have volunteered to, well, they're not volunteering, but who have agreed, let us say, to teach those classes. We're very appreciative of what they have agreed to do. I believe the 4 sections of IS 108 that we have offered are full, I believe, and Nava'a will help us understand what's going on with next steps. These next steps classes are not in Banner. they are in a very separate place, Susan, and Nava'a can help us understand that. Lynn wants to know what the 4 subcommittees are. Instructional is one. Student affairs or student support is another. Facilities and employee safety is the other. Okay, so 667 students are enrolled so far. Probably there'll be more for the individual program administrators to speak about, because the rest of the stuff I'll let you know about. One plug I would like to make before we answer all kinds of questions a little bit later. As of 12 o'clock today, there were 731 missing grades. And I know the faculty are working very hard to get through all of that before 4 p.m. today. So just putting in a plug. We thank you for getting all of that together. And the 731 missing grades, I know will all show up before 4 o'clock. Oh, no, Ayala says 521 now. Woo-hoo. So 200 in the last hour. That's terrific. Thanks, everybody. I know how hard it is to get it all done. Let's go through with vice chancellors. Okay. No, Ayala, since you just put something out there, why don't you get started? Let us know what to update from you guys.
No, I mean, the real big update was the faculty grades. Again, the message to students concerning that credit, no credit option, their option becomes live later on today. So basically they'll have today, sometime after 4 p.m. all the way till Friday, the 22nd, 4 o'clock p.m. to go ahead and change their grading option to credit or no credit. You also want me to give talk about my members for the CCC?
Sure.
Okay, so people serving on the committee, representing Faculty Senate, Joe Overton, Brandon Chun, representing Kalaualani, Jennifer Bradley, representing Staff Council, Kevin Andrzejczak, and then some of the other people from different units, Danielle Chung from OSET, Jan Fried, and Roman Sabachi from Office of Student Activities. So a lot of what the committee is really, the initial work, because we start meeting tomorrow, is really looking at the student services, what is provided, and how to determine whether that service is best used, has to be through face-to-face, online, or a hybrid. Similar to what Maria and her instructional group has already done. That's where we're probably going to start. If you also notice, I think the latest message from President Lasner that you should have all received from UH Announce that gives some clarification, at least through the month of June. But this committee will be providing feedback to the campus just so that everybody's on the same page. And a lot of what the committee is doing is just trying to figure out just recommendation or guidelines based on all of these services. So we'll probably be asking for a lot of feedback throughout the summer as we move toward this. Questions? Okay, thank you.
Let me just add a little bit to Noel's stuff about these planning groups. On the meeting today with all the other chancellors, everybody realized that we all have our own planning groups and we're all pretty much trying to do the same thing. So there is conversation that just got started this morning about connecting the campus groups to talk to each other from those, the same student affairs folks, the facilities folks, so that there is some commonality across. And if somebody's got great ideas at another campus, something that we might be able to implement. So that is something that is probably going to happen down the road. And again, the president also has working groups on these similar areas, and we are expecting feedback from those, not feedback as much as briefings from those on Friday. Not us, but Erica, who is a member of the officers, right? So the vice presidents meet with President Lasner pretty much on a daily basis, and on Friday they're going to be briefing each other on what their work groups are doing. So that's information that we will also have. Again, trying as best as we can to align all the way down from UH system all the way down to campus level. Make sure we're all on the same page, doing all kinds of the same things. Maria.
Um, okay, updates. We sent out via announce the professional development that would plan for KCC, and we're gonna be having the Top to Go starting again on June 1st. Jamie and Eugene will be the ones leading that, and then we have other campuses also have faculty development initiatives that you are all welcome to go to. And one of the things there is the discipline led faculty development, wherein we want the faculty from all different campuses in the same discipline to talk to each other, to help each other. Sometimes it's going to be easier or maybe more productive. It's going to be courses like everybody teaching English 100. If they talk to each other, then they can come up with activities or modules that they can be using during the fall semester. So the goal is, in order to help each other out on how to present concepts in their classes or in their discipline. So I just sent that out to the department chairs, and you should be receiving that, and you can sign up for it if you're interested. And all the folks who are in the same discipline will be put together. And so you will have to come up with the goal. What is the end product of this group? So that was just sent out today, and hopefully you will sign up. And as I said before, sometimes it's easier for you to just indicate what class you are interested in or what course you are interested in. Sometimes they just put the discipline because they're the only one in that discipline from their campus, and they want to talk to somebody else from another campus also in that same discipline. So it's a good way to collaborate with each other and to share things that you guys are doing and also learn from your peers. So that has been sent out. Now, just point of clarification, something came out in announced today just to clarify that this professional development is not mandatory. It is an expectation, and we are trying to promote it so that to help out with getting a better courses that are better remote learning courses for the fall semester, unlike what happened during the spring semester. So that okay, that's my update for academic affairs. Now for the CCC committee, instructional, the members of the team are Jamie Sickle and Loje Barnes from they're representing Faculty Senate. Lisa Kanai is representing Kalaulani. Rafael Loos is representing Staff Council. Then I have Melissa Nakamura representing OSET. And then we have Lisa Radek Navaa and John Richards, who are the deans. So that is the committee makeup. We already met last Monday. Yes, Monday. We met last Monday, and we tried to divvy the work of the different aspects that we will be looking at. Now, you all should have responded to a spreadsheet. I know the arts and science are responding to that spreadsheet. Lisa has another spreadsheet that she has sent to the health sciences. So please respond to that so that we know what your preferences are. What kind of courses would you like to teach? Is it going to be all face-to-face? Will it be online? If you say it can be online, then maybe we will just request that you teach it online. And if it's face-to-face, then we will try to find out what things are needed to be in place in order for us to be able to have it online. Just remember the main, the priority of this is to have you teach the way you want to teach it, but we also are looking at the health and safety of your students and the faculty. So those are the driving, that would be driving the conversation. Yeah, so anyway, so that is it for now. We're meeting again on Friday to try and figure this out. We have to come up with a schedule by the end of June. And so that whatever is on class availability now is going to be changed into what it is supposed to be for fall. And I've asked Noel that after that is set, we inform the students to look into their classes. Maybe the modality has already changed and things like that, so that they know what has happened to their classes that they signed up on.
Maria, there's a question about classroom capacities for each classroom using social distancing. When are faculty going to get that? I think it's gone out, right?
Yeah, but then yes, you can get that now, but we can get that. But the only limitations here is, you know, the classrooms sometimes they have tables that you cannot move. You know, the setup of the room is you have the floor space, and I think the information that came out is just dividing that floor space into, you know, the areas that a student will have to have in order to have 6 feet between them. But if the tables cannot be moved or things cannot be moved, then maybe the number might be less than what was given in that spreadsheet. So we'll try to figure that out. Well, once we find out what face-to-face classes are being requested, then we'll try to look at the classroom and see what the capacity is going to be for that particular classroom. And maybe we can find another room that's not going to be used that we could transfer that, you know, because some classes are going to be online. So the classes that have been scheduled in the other rooms might be online, and therefore we'll have more classrooms to be able to move things around. So we'll try to make it work.
Right. There's a question about, can you clarify what it means when you say the group will come up with the schedule? I don't think the group is coming up with the schedule. I think that's the department chairs and the deans are coming up with the schedule, right?
Yeah, the schedule is going to be there. It's just the modality that we're going to be looking at. Like, is it going to be online? Is it going to be face-to-face? Is it going to be hybrid? You know, but the schedule is already set. I mean, the time, the day, it's all there already.
It will be adjusting the modality as needed to align with faculty's preference and whatever can be done within the confines of the classrooms.
Yes.
Okay. There's a question about, for international and veteran students, will a hybrid course satisfy their face-to-face requirement? I believe that is true. Thank you, Calvin. I know you answered and asked that question before. Yeah, Cal. Thank you. You're the subject matter expert.
But how about the international students?
What about the international students?
They still need the 9 credits?
Yes. At this particular time, we're looking into whether or not CVIS, which is the tracking mechanism, we're looking to see whether we can get exemption from that requirement for fall. We got it for spring, and I believe summer as well. And we are looking to see whether it can be extended to fall.
Can we do that now?
We're looking into it, Dr. Bautista.
Because it will help with the scheduling.
Of course, of course.
Okay, thank you.
HIC is on it.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah, hi Maria, this is Sean real quick. We are exploring those possibilities. We received the exemption for spring, and soon thereafter, once we knew summer was going online, we submitted that paperwork early, and we've been granted that exception for summer as well. So we're doing that for fall already.
Okay, thanks so much, Sean.
Okay, one other thing about the professional development opportunities, it is not mandatory. It is opportunities that we hope faculty will feel important enough to take part in. Top to Go is going to be offered in the second summer session, I believe. And there's also a list of expectations of faculty who do online instruction, which again is not requirements. It is not something that we're going to be policing. It is really, I was trying to think, I think the Faculty Senate even came up with something very similar to that. The DE implementation team had a very similar kind of list of expectations for faculty who are doing online instruction. And I can tell you that I looked at the comments from the survey, and I know that communication is really critical. So for faculty who are going to be teaching online, I know that when you do talk, you get to know that very clearly. But communication and timely communication is really important if students are online. They get lost so much more easily if people aren't touching base with them. Okay, Calvin, F1 and non-F1, you're getting into some very tricky times. There's lots of alphabets and numbers for visas, and we're only worrying about F1 students because they're the ones that have the constraint. When will student survey results be available to everyone? I don't know. Is it over? I thought it wasn't over yet. It's done now, Maria?
I thought
No,
it was
yeah.
yesterday.
Done?
I thought it was yesterday was the last day.
Okay, okay, so we should get something more. I just got preliminary look, that's all. This is not the faculty evaluation survey. This is a survey on the students, and the faculty had a similar survey about their experiences in spring and what the experiences were and how we might improve things for the fall. So different one. Okay, any more academic affairs kind of questions? Prioritizing and reserving hybrid classes for VA and international students. Hard to know which ones the international students and the VA will want to take though. If you're suggesting that we set aside 2 seats in every class, that's something that we can now turn over to the to the instructional CCC committee. You got that, Maria?
Yeah, we're trying to get data from OFI to find out which classes the international students are registered, for fall.
Do we have anything about VA?
Roger, sorry, this is Carol Wagner over at OFI. Roger Reed sent out a list to all the DCs yesterday and an update today, at least breaking it down by international students and online, but not veterans.
Okay, and then there's something Dave Stevens is saying the vets will have COVID-19 code. Terry Mitchell is the counselor for VA students. And what does that mean? VA funded students may take C19 online class.
What it means is that courses that were initially scheduled to be offered in person or hybrid and that have converted to online due to COVID-19, they carry a C19 code. So long as a student has one C19 code class in their schedule, they should be okay for the housing allowance.
Thanks, Terry. And thanks, Dave, for bringing that up. Other questions for academic affairs? Okay, 350 students answered our spring 2020 survey. How did it go? Great. If an instructor is willing and able to transition a fall F2F class to WWW, would you still recommend this? Yes. I would still recommend that because of the need for us to also plan to pivot. If there is a resurgence of the virus and we don't know, we will have to go back and take everybody back online. So I think you want to be, if your course is going to have a face-to-face component and there are ways that we can configure classrooms to do that, then it's great because we know students, the majority of students prefer face-to-face. And if we can accommodate that somehow, that would be fine. Understanding that there needs to be some plan for some online component and a bigger plan that should things revert, there will be, the faculty will have the ability to go online to serve the students. Okay, anything else? Can you make changes? You should be absolutely talking to your department chairs and your deans about how you want to offer your classes for fall. As Maria said, we want to have everything finalized by June 30. So conversations need to happen with the faculty. Face-to-face components, wherever you can do it, with online components, that would be the ideal for everyone. And I believe the system folks and the VCAAs have been working on definitions of everything. Maria, did that get sent out?
Not yet.
Okay.
We're working on the different scenarios for a hybrid course.
Yeah, and I looked at an early draft and it's like, okay, you can, it's, anyway. So there are multiple ways of accommodating both face-to-face and online in a single class. And what I would underline at this moment is that we all have to channel our inner engineer. Engineers solve problems. And right now, we're at that very point where we all have to be thinking about how to solve these problems. Yeah. So I would really like all of us to be channeling our inner engineer. And that I didn't learn about inner engineers, but I did learn about engineers from Aaron Hanai, who said he's wired to think this way. So some of us aren't necessarily wired to think this way, but right now we've got to grow those dendrites pretty quick. Brian, I'm sorry, Maria, go.
If you're thinking, Dave, if you're thinking about changing your class availability from a face-to-face to www, that sounds like a wrestling thing, right? But anyway, if you want to do that change now, and if you have students in that class, you cannot. What will happen is, if you already have students in that class, Jerry, our registrar, has to disenroll them and then make the changes and then enroll them back in. So you cannot just do it if you already have students in that class. Now, if you're, nobody is registered in it, then yes, you can make the change now.
Okay. There'll be time for more questions, I'm sure. I'm sure. Any changes in modality may impact fees that students have to pay. So that's why it needs to be done at one particular time. If your class has no students right now, you can make the change. But
Yes.
if the class does have students, Jerry has lots of maneuvering to do. So there will be a time for that to happen. What we need to make sure that we do is get very clear what it is that the class will end up being once everybody is okay.
Not just Jerry, the registrar, it's also the department secretary. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Susan. So Dave says, wouldn't it be easier to do it now when there aren't that many students enrolled? No doubt, but I think what has to happen is you can't do this if it's going to, there's going to be so much happening in so many different classes. You really can't be doing it, okay, this one I'll do today, this one I'll do tomorrow, and the next one I'll do the next day after that. I believe that there is some need to have this much more coordinated across the system as well. Okay, Calvin is reporting out. Okay. Anything else for Maria and or academic affairs? Okay, Brian. Oh, before we get to Brian, since I know that there are some real concerns about faculty being required to sanitize classrooms. The goal was never to have faculty sanitize the whole classroom, but really to maintain their workspace. So if you think about going into Safeway, you take a wipe and you wipe off your cart. It's what you're going to use in the store. So in the classrooms, and again, the facilities group and the employee safety group are discussing protocol for classrooms. My what? Expectation is that faculty would make sure that whatever is high touch in their workspace in a classroom is wiped down for their own safety. I also understand that CDC, and I haven't really read everything, but somebody like sideways told me, hey, CDC says you don't have to worry about surfaces anymore. And I haven't looked at it and I don't know, so this might all be moot. I have no idea. And again, I appreciate everybody's patience. As I've said many times in many different situations, we are dancing on a moving rug. Things change from one day to the next. So what we say today may need to change tomorrow. But for now, my expectation is that a faculty member in a classroom would take care of her workspace. Whatever high touch areas she needs to touch, she's going to wipe down. Same thing with the students. They would have high touch areas, desks, arms of chairs, if they have arms of chairs, that they would wipe down. And I understand that this is standard procedure in some of our STEM labs. So it's not something that's way out there in left field. Okay, so that's my, wait, do I have a soapbox? I did, I'd be on it. Brian.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I don't have much of a report. I was going to talk about budget, but LP already did. So I'll just talk about the facilities CCC subcommittee or work group. So basically, it's comprised from Aha Kalau'olani, Kapulani Landgraf, from our students. Unfortunately, she doesn't have any students, so she's like on every committee. Shannon Sakawe. From the staff council, we have David Apostle and Raphael Lowe. Faculty Senate, Lisa Miller. And then Sean Nathan and Wanda Mita are also on that work group. Basically, the focus of the facilities work group is on facilities, health and safety of the facilities maintenance, and more importantly, as we kind of are in our new world right now, the purchase, installation, or construction of facilities modifications that need to be done, for us to fulfill our teaching and service responsibilities. So that's the facilities work group in a nutshell. I did want to touch bases on one thing. Maria covered it lightly. So yesterday somebody asked, did the space or max students per space come out yet? And it did. There was a spreadsheet that I sent out. Please note, this spreadsheet should not be used as the end all, say all, be all of how many students or how many people can fit in the room. All it's really designed to do is to give you an idea of essentially what you can fit in there. Inevitably, you'll have to go down there, you'll have to look at the space. How many people fit in there can certainly be impacted by type of furniture, the entrance, the egress, things like that. And so it would be really incumbent on all of us to make sure that if the sheet says 15, can I really feasibly fit 15 in there? And I've heard back from a few people, and I just want to let you know, thank you for your feedback. But again, it's just to help you, guide you in your class sizes. But you should still go out there and check it out. If you need help in looking at it, and you need a second opinion, by all means, give me a ring, or you can call facilities maintenance and they can give you a ring as well, or they can help you out as well. Please note that, our approach, a lot of what we're doing right now is really going to be driven by department chairs and faculty and the teachers. The CCC's approach to classes is I guess, three-pronged. The first step, or three steps. The first step is that we got to determine what classes have to be 100% face-to-face, what can be partially online, what can be partially face-to-face, and then what can be entirely online. We've been talking about things like tiers, like tier 1 is, got to be face-to-face. Tier 2, can be a hybrid of both. And then tier 3 can be entirely online. Whatever we call it, we need to classify our classes that way first. And once that's done, those are the pieces that go into the puzzle being our space constraints, given the social distancing. So, once you identify which ones have to be taught in a certain way, then we can figure out what pieces need to go into the puzzle. Now, in addition to that, we are going to have overall protocols for each class. And I think Joanne in employee safety and, of course, instruction will be looking at that as well. But there's going to be protocols for each of our classes and what needs to be done, to keep the spaces safe, both from a janitorial perspective as well as a faculty perspective, as well as a student perspective. But again, getting back to every space being different, once those protocols are developed, generally, each space will then have to have specific protocols because it's going to be designed differently. The entrances may be in a different location. There's all kinds of different factors that will impact what kind of protocols need to be developed. So, there is a lot of work that needs to get done. But we can't really do too much until we know what classes need to be face-to-face and what classes can be done online. That's all
Brian, there's a question about, does the space that's been calculated for capacity, does it include a space for the instructor?
So that overall, the overall number, we kind of talked about this in our group and well, not in our group, amongst our, me and facilities folks. And, everybody teaches differently. And so, for example, Lisa Kanai sent me an email. She's like, hey, you got to have space for the instructor. So if you assume an instructor is going to walk the whole board back and forth, then of course you need to factor that in. It was going to be too difficult for us to figure out how one person teaches versus another person teaches. One person might just sit behind the monitor or the computer that's in the classroom. Others might, be a little bit more mobile. So to answer your question, Dave, what it does is it treats the instructor as a number, as well as like how many people can fit in that room. So it doesn't necessarily include a teaching space. It includes 36 square feet for that individual.
Other questions for Brian? When do you think we can plan for student engagement activities with safe socially distancing procedures? That's probably going to be determined more by the government than us, I would think. Did you guys see the long, I forget how many PowerPoint slides it was from the governor? And there is some timeline or stages at which 10 gatherings of 10 people is okay, then gatherings of 100 people is okay.
I just read that, Louise. So this is Joanne.
Yeah.
Right now it's 10 people for a social gathering, but when we go to the next stage where we loosen our requirements, then we'll be able to do 50. But so I'm actually using that as a guide for
yeah.
Yeah.
We can make that available to you. I think it's public document. Joanne, can you send it out to CAC, and CAC guys, can you make sure everybody gets it? It's really quite good. There's no dates. Nope. It's just, these are the stages. And I imagine that the governor will tell us, okay, we're here now. We're at green or yellow or whatever the color is. More parking, Brian? Any parking?
Yeah, sorry. What was the question? If more parking is going to be open on June 1st?
Yeah.
Man, LP, I give you credit. I don't know how you can keep up and talk. There's a lot of questions that pop up in here.
I'm a former teacher. You can do many things at the same time.
Okay.
And you can see behind you.
So is it more parking going to be open on June 1st? That's the plan. We don't entirely you know, the only reason why we shut down parking besides the construction is just to make sure that the folks across the street who work out and walk and so on and so forth in the neighborhood don't park here unnecessarily. We will still have to make sure that doesn't happen because we are still going to be closed to the public. But we will be opening, you know, for sure, a little bit more parking. Probably not entire swaths of lots, but for sure we'll get some open. Lisa Aganon has twisted my arm every day about more Lot A time, so I'm sure that will be, you know, opened. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. We'll move into the deans. Nava'a.
Oh, hi, everyone. Not much to update, but in terms of the Next Steps project, we haven't yet started enrolling students in summer session 2. So just, I think we have more faculty who are teaching in summer session 2. So just kind of the learning experiences that we're learning right now in registering students. We have a meeting this evening at 4, or this afternoon at 4. So I'm gonna bring up some of the questions. It seems like faculty really wanna know who their students are early so they can contact them. I don't think students are even enrolled in any of the courses that are on Banner yet. So, which means that the faculty can't reach out to them. So we'll figure that out. So right now we have about 107 of students enrolled in our classes here at KCC. Host 100 has 34 and IS 108 has 72. We have an IS 107 course that starts June 22nd. It's a sustainability focused course, and right now there's only one student, but that's June 22nd, and it seems like high school students are kind of taking their time in enrolling in classes. Yeah, so every day is something new. Health 120, we just sent it in for approval, so it should be coming back, and we're gonna try schedule that, maybe not the first starting May, but maybe sometime either the June 8th or the June 22nd start date. What I do know is that there's quite a few students who are taking IS 108 that has the health science emphasis. But yeah, anybody else have questions? Any idea that as of today? Oh, and then Jerry saying that she admitted 44 students for summer today. Yeah, so in terms of some of the chairs and some of the faculty have been asking me about how can they check the enrollment. Yeah, I've tried every way to check the enrollment. I've gone on Banner, on Servlet. The system is keeping their own tally of the students and how much students are not officially enrolled, but they're going to enroll them actually into Banner. Of the specific date that that's gonna happen, it should happen in the next 100-something hours. I don't know. I'll find out at our meeting today, but it should be happening soon because, well, next week, Tuesday, yeah, is the first day of summer session 1.
Right. So we have a list of courses that we put up for summer session 2, right? Nava'a?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have a list, but they haven't yet given us the go-ahead to schedule them. Yeah, so they go through the list we created and they'll tell me, okay, you can schedule this one, schedule this one, schedule this one, and then I go into Banner and start scheduling them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Questions for Naval anymore? Can we see the list? Can we see the list of courses that have been suggested?
Can we see the list? What list do you like to see? Oh, sorry. What list would you like to see?
The list that he would like to see is summer session 2.
Okay, yeah, I'll send it out to the deans, department chairs, and whoever is actually slated to teach. And then chairs, if you could share that out, or deans, maybe it might be easier to share it out with the rest of the faculty. Yep, I can.
Okay, terrific. Lisa Braddock.
No new updates today. A lot of things going on specific to health, but overall, the contact tracing program in cooperation with the Department of Health, again, that's being handled primarily by Manoa and West Oahu, but within that program is some support for our community health worker program. So that's kind of the most newest and latest and greatest news. Other than that, things are pretty much status quo, just working on plans for fall.
And we have a drive-through pinning ceremony on Friday.
Yes, we do. Sorry, yes, nursing. We have a drive-through pinning ceremony that will take place right after our Zoom on Friday. Nursing provided some really great details, really thoughtful planning and how this will work to meet social distancing and considering logistics, the in and out of the drive, and keeping students safe, but still acknowledging their accomplishments. So great job, nursing.
So if people want to watch the pinning ceremony, where should they gather 6 feet apart?
Oh, I'm sorry, what was that?
I said if folks were interested in looking at what a drive-through pinning ceremony is, where should they be gathering 6 feet apart?
The parking lot right outside Capico, where I think we'll just be out there. We'll all kind of be around the edges. So, yep.
Okay, terrific. Lavashay wants to know what kind of requests do we have to do drive-through types of things. Brian?
Because everything is an extraordinary situation, just work with your respective administrators. So in this case, Noyao, and really it's the logical stuff, the who, what, when, where, why, and focusing on how you're going to keep people safe. When Lisa was talking about nursing doing a bang-up job, they really did. So kudos to Aganon and Wes, because they really thought it out, and by the time it had gotten to LP, it was easy. So that's it though, Lavashay. If you'd like to do something like that, then just send an email through Noyao, and we give us enough time to talk about it, please. If you want to do it tomorrow, and have to say no, but just the who, what, when, where, why, it's fine.
Are there any plans to record the event, Lisa? Do you know?
I was just going to reply. I'm going to be taking some, I talked with Louise, and I'm going to take some still photos just with my camera, but I don't believe that we have the capacity to do any live stream or anything like that. And it's thankfully, it won't be blocking the road for a great deal of time. There's not a lot of students that will be participating in it, so it makes it a little more manageable.
Thank you for that.
This is Crystalline, and we also have Pat Taylor that is bringing her Polaroid camera to take pictures of the graduates when they exit their car for a peek. So kudos to Pat Taylor on that one.
Terrific. Thank you. John Richards?
Yeah, hey everybody. No more details for today. I just know that we're at this point of the year where we wish everybody to have a wonderful summer full of love and light and peace. And I'll send you off, if you have the chance to look at my profile picture, a virtual toast of 110-year-old bourbon, waiting for the day that we can be face-to-face and actually taste a sip of it. So may that day come soon.
How's Friday on your calendar? I'm just kidding. Okay. Carol? Oh, I think Carol, if she's not on, she had another Zoom to go to. Okay, I'm sorry, Carol. I should have had time for her before. My apologies. Joanne?
Okay, so for the employee safety subgroup, we have Annie Thomas is part of the Aha Kalawalani. Let's see, Joanne Nakano is OSET. Jung Kim and Lauren Tamamoto are faculty senate's reps. And Linda Katsuda is staff council's rep. Then we have Chad Yasuda, Deneen Kawamoto and Justin Kashiwaeda on the group as well. Brian also joins when he can because there's so much overlap between what we do and what the facilities guys do. So that we try to overlap as much as possible. And so what the group is actually doing is we're looking at safety just throughout the entire campus. So we're starting with office spaces. We actually discussed it. Our first meeting was on Tuesday. So we discussed a protocol for office spaces, a protocol for classroom, just general, a very general one. We're going to be looking at common spaces for students, such as cafeteria, library, all those kind of places. We're going to be we're looking at outside places where students gather, the Great Lawn, Copico Courtyard, you know, those kind of things. So basically, anywhere people are, we're going to try. We're going to try to figure something out, at least to start the conversation, and it'll go to the rest of the subgroups to look at and massage, and then we'll, you know, try to align it with what's going on with the system. So there's a lot of discussion and a lot of input. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. Another announcement that I have is just to kind of give you a sense of what's going on in the marketing world. So of course, enrollment is on top of our minds as we move into the fall. We are pretty much 1,000 students less than we were last year. We caught up a little bit a couple days ago, but it's still not great. So for marketing, I think I've mentioned it before, but we are purchasing Google and social media ads, and we're driving prospective students to either apply, the apply link, or to the online courses link on our website. And we've really seen a spike in inquiries, so we know it's working. We've been also looking for kind of, since it's an extraordinary time, we've been looking for different ways to get our name out in public. The UH and UHCC system has been running ads on television. You might have seen them, and because they actually feature Kapi'olani a lot, which is super cool. But I have even a cooler thing to share. So we purchased airtime with KHON to place a 30-second video. The station called the video a strategically placed message, and we're going to air it before and after 4 virtual high school graduations. So about 12 different high schools opted to do a virtual high school graduation through KHON. But we focused on our 4 feeder high schools. So Kaiser's High School is May 22nd, Farrington's May 23rd, Moanalua is May 27th, and Kalani is May 30th. And so before and after they're gonna do their virtual graduation, you will see this video. I mean, the students will see the video. Yay! So I hope you loved it because I think it's fantastic. And I'm not going to mention the person who created it, but it was Jamie Sickle. So unbelievable, folks. So that's it. And I'm telling you about it because I want you to be able to, if you have students who are graduating, you know, look out for the video, but also just, you know, enrollment and especially retention is part of all of our missions. We all have to do our best to encourage our students to come back and continue in the fall. So thank you for all that you're doing already for that, but just let's keep pulling together and working together for retention and enrollment. Thanks.
Thanks, Joanne. And I've watched that video maybe 4 times now. And it just makes you want to jump up and say, yeah, it's great. So thank you, Jamie. And thank you to Joanne for organizing that strategic placement for the graduations. It's a joy to watch talent and creativity at work. So neither one of which I have. So I'm always much admiration for folks who can do these things. It's just amazing to me. So thank you, Jamie. I think that's it for the updates. Does anybody in the audience like to share or speak or announce?
Sorry, can I share one more thing? I forgot.
Oh, no, yeah.
I don't think Sue's online right now, but I just kind of wanted to bring some recognition for the work that she just did for the virtual job fair that happened today. It was in collaboration with Leeward and Windward, but I had a chance to virtually check in and thought it was a pretty awesome and creative how they did this job fair. So for a lot of it is a student enters the room, they're welcomed by the three coordinators. And then the student talks about what kind of job they're looking for, or they look through a list of employers who are participating. And then they get placed into another virtual room where the job recruiter or the person who's actually there talking about the jobs and asking questions. So really creative in this remote learning time of how to use all the functions of Zoom, because I don't know how to use all those different functions. I think I just try to talk to 100 people at once, like Bill is doing now. But I just kind of wanted to give a shout out to Sue and her colleagues across the system to being able to offer such an important resource for our students right now who are both graduating and still in school, trying to find jobs in this crazy time right now. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to share that because I think she's going to continue doing that with a lot of the other CCs, especially on Oahu, to help promote the job fairs for our students.
Terrific. Thanks, Noelle. Also, we may have missed Shannon Sakawa reporting on the returning adults. 845 registered for summer, 1,328 registered for fall. That's pretty outstanding. Good job, Shannon.
Oh, the other thing, Louise, I know a question came up about NSOs from the other meeting. Can Lavashay give a quick update of just how they're operating so that people have an idea? Go ahead, Lavashay.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So just to let you know, starting about mid-April, we moved all of our advising and registration sessions online via Zoom. We are using breakout rooms to work with the students in smaller size. We're hoping that we don't have to add too many additional sessions to accommodate that over the summer. We've had about 300 students sign up, which is actually more than we typically have at this point in time because usually they're all about graduation and parties, and so we don't get majority of students until July. So we've had about 1,400 first-year students accepted, and we're working them in and helping them get set up with their classes. So no need to worry about that. That's all happening online, and that was done back in April. So if you have questions, you can email me if you have any questions about orientation. We are still going to plan for a virtual Ho'opili on August 20th, which is the Thursday before school starts. So you'll be getting more information about that and how you can participate. I'm actually have asked Sue to help us with how we might be able to do that online. So that's what's happening. But as far as retention and things like that, if you could just please do what you're already doing and reaching out to students, encouraging them to register. We've got the first year students in control, but it's getting back our returning students and our continuing students and making sure that they know what to do, that they're going to meet with a counselor and things like that. So we work all summer. We're geared up and busy all summer. So if you need anything, just reach out to us. Thanks.
Thanks, Lavashay. Darsh has one announcement.
Hi, Louise. I was just going through the bookstore website of our on our campus, and I just noticed that there is a T-shirt design contest for 2020. I'm not sure if there were any announcement or if there was any marketing done for that, but I happened to notice, and one of our student assistant has participated in the contest. So I'm just going to share the link in the chat option if that's something that people would like to vote and check it out. Thank you.
Thanks, Stars. Okay, it's 2:01. Anybody want to have the last word?
See you Friday in the parking lot A. We're looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks, Crystalline. Okay, that was the last word until I say, then I get the last word. Bye, everybody. Thanks for checking in. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you on Friday. Get your grades in, 4 o'clock.
Bye.
Bye.